you're okay with like my Howard Stern approach to this podcast and that you would basically be the Robin. And you said yes. Do you remember that analogy I gave? Now, there is a power dynamic. Now, Robin's very powerful, but Howard Stern still is more so. And she's going to fight. I think, would never, like, not fight him on stuff. Like, she always did. But at the end, like, he might just be the one with the final word because it's his show.
Yes.
Type deal. I still want you to, being Robin is good. Like, I feel like that is a position of power.
We're building the rules of engagement. It's like we've not had that interaction before. And we're now recording, so everyone who hears episode 12 will know what we're talking about.
Insider, like, this is like backroom shit right now.
By the way,
are you sure? Oh, okay, the green light's on.
Yes. Did you hear we were good on the audio too?
I know, I couldn't believe it.
There were
there was like one instance. There was like a little cracola.
Yeah. But then it was good. Like in the beginning, I edited out a little.
Yeah.
That was.
No, you need to, look, we're not going to agree on everything.
That's not the point. I wouldn't want to agree on everything. That would make us like MSNBC or Fox News where everyone's just like.
This is real life shit. This is honest. This is with integrity and with respect. But also, we have to respect ourselves and respect our beliefs. And if one of us feels strongly about something, we should be able to tell the other person and defend it even vigorously without fear of retribution or fear of, being the weaker party and being bulldozed, but I'm glad that we both feel so strongly about this kind of stuff because this is real life. This is life and death shit right now. What's going on?
Definitely.
It's life and death. It's like good versus evil. Now, granted, good's flawed too. Nobody's perfect. Let's face it.
We're humans. We're not machines. Yeah. Even machines make mistakes.
I just think the stakes are so high right now because with just the swipe of a pen, this buffoon in the White House is literally destroying people's lives. A lot of people that voted for him.
And the funniest life he just destroyed was Elon's.
Well, okay, can we please? Okay, we're not going to talk about politics this time, unless you want to. But I'm having goosebumps. I'm loving it because I just found out about that like 2 hours ago. That Elonia has got his panties in a massive bunch and is basically saying the big beautiful bill is anything but, and it sucks. Please pull it back. He doesn't say please. He's like, this bill sucks.
Yep. You just learned about it, but you got to watch the interviews. It's like they're asking him on Fox News like questions.
Elonia?
And he just seems like a dad who just got kicked in the nuts by his kid. Like he's just.
But isn't that interesting that
totally demoralized? It was very interesting to see.
It's like, bitch,
and like all this stuff about
like
these op-ed pieces with like his ketamine usage and all of that. It was like.
No, is that true?
Did you see him with the chainsaw and jumping up on stage? It makes a lot of sense now why he was acting so erratically.
I've never seen like a video, like an actual moving. I've only read articles and seen the pictures associated with them, but I've never, because I'm not, again, I was never a fan. Like I'm not going to sit there and watch a video. I haven't seen an actual like moving video of Elonia Musk ever. I don't think.
Okay.
It's just pictures.
I should pull up like Seth Meyers just did.
The only video, the last video I remember seeing of Donald was when he was walking down Air Force One and he had the toilet paper on his foot. That's the last one.
And the videos where the wind blows and then his hair like.
I've only seen pictures. I didn't see the actual like moving. Too. When you showed me the picture of him and with those black guys, like I don't even need the video. That was so incredible. I had a dream about it the other night and I just woke up laughing. It was amazing. It was so good, but because it's so like hypocritical to like what his stance is and what he's trying to do. Unless they were all like really rich black guys that just happened to.
No, it was AI generated. He made it. He made it, and his team made it, and he posted it on his Truth Social.
Did you tell me that in the beginning?
Yes.
No, you didn't. Did you really?
I think you were too like.
I was dying laughing. When I'm laughing, all my other senses.
The group of black ladies and then the group of black guys.
I don't remember the ladies. You showed me 2 pictures of him with a bunch of black guys and he's smiling. They seemed to be okay with it, but weren't as happy as he was.
It was
but
fake.
Those were all fake?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, I knew the Pope, because it was the same episode that we were talking about, because I had just seen, he had posted a picture of himself as the Pope. That was AI. But he posted that himself. Did he also post himself the pictures of him with black people?
This was the only thing.
Well, it says who puts fake on them?
The Guardian did.
Okay, the Guardian.
The Guardian posted it, but with fake, so it doesn't spread any further because you thought it might be real. This is the other one. The BBC.
I do like the Guardian.
The BBC discredited this one.
Then they actually put like fake with a red line, so you can't cut and paste it to your like Facebook feed or whatever.
Exactly.
I like the BBC too. Are those two of like the last of the true bastions of quality American journalism? Like
the BBC
NPR,
is
BBC,
British.
I know, but a lot of people follow in the US because of their reporting.
Yes, it's good. It does fall under like state run, like the government funds it directly. So
it's royal run.
Like
because their government is royals
of the European countries contribute.
So not just the UK.
No,
even though it's British broadcasting.
Yes, they each contribute to it, and then there's the DW, another really good one. That one's much smaller and independent. It's Germany's.
Oh, okay.
Deutsche Wallcom, whatever broadcasting. Really good stories. They do like I found out about the Alabama sewer crisis with like 10,000 people have raw sewage pumped out into their lawn because they don't have septic systems through the DW, through a video of like the U.S. talks about third world. I think it was right after Trump's shithole countries. And they were like, look at Alabama. You actually have shit holes.
Oh, I thought you said this was about Germany. This was about Alabama. I saw that.
The German broadcasting came to the U.S. after Trump said the whole shithole country and did an expose on the 10,000 people in Alabama. Actual shithole.
I saw the special. It was not German television. I think it was on like Max or something. I don't know. We plug Max a lot. I think I've been watching a lot of Max.
I mean, they do make a lot of high quality content. They have a budget. And a lot of
HBO doesn't pay well, but they have high quality.
Yes.
And they did like a expose of this town in Alabama. This was years ago, but I think it started to catch on, especially because again, it's this like, hey, what about over there? And it's like, no, bitch, what about right here in Alabama? Like
in the richest country in the entire world.
Alabama is probably one of the poorest.
I believe it is the poorest state.
I'm talking about like mile for mile. Alabama is one of the poorest areas in the modern world.
Yes.
Excluding certain like real third world like deserts of, you know what I mean? Oblivion on this earth. But Alabama is like, if it weren't for states like California, sorry, but it's the truth. California and New York, Alabama wouldn't even,
if we were our own country, we'd be in the top 20. And we produce, I think it's over 90% of like, open pollinated, so like nuts, peaches, all that kind of stuff, because we have a huge honeybee population here that
agriculture, entertainment, obviously, but also technology. California is now the fourth biggest economy in the world again.
Yeah.
Fourth.
Insane. Which, look at our own backyard. We have where I live, a lot of homeless people. A lot of poverty.
I just talked to a friend of mine who lives in West Hollywood, and he said that homeless situation it's bad.
I'm sure.
And I've just found out that he voted for
Trump.
He voted for Kamala, but had voted for Rick Caruso for mayor, who was a Republican, who at the time was like a trumpet, but then right before the election came to the Democratic Party. He's a billionaire. He's a businessman. He ran against Karen Bass. But if he runs again now, I think he could beat her. And then you have a Republican mayor of one of the richest cities in the world. Is it undercover if he switched parties like right at the last minute?
You know who else switched parties? Mr. Trump himself. He used to be a Democrat. And then he switched to being Republican.
I did hear that.
And Hillary was at Hillary and her husband were at his wedding to Melania.
I mean, look, people say how dumb he is and what a scumbag he is and all this stuff, but dude, he became president twice. He's smart. He is smart in his own diabolical way, and that's what you got to give him props for that. But you also got to give him the side eye double for that too, and just be like, this guy knows enough about, because it's kind of like keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's what what Trump did, and he won as a result twice. Even after the insurrection, even after he was convicted of all these crimes, sexual stuff, he still became president again. The guy knows what he's doing,
and
you got to
entertaining. Remember earlier we were talking about magnets. Last month or so.
Magnets.
No, magnets. We were talking about magnets earlier.
Oh, actual magnets. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was like last month or the month before. He was like, "Have you heard about magnets?" He's like, "One drop of water, no more magnet."
Oh, is that
just like random?
When I said when it rains, will it still work as well? Is that why you laughed? Because you thought,
yes.
Because I didn't even know that.
Like, I didn't know that this was like a thing where people think if you get magnets wet, like they just like.
No, you put them in the garden and they seem to not work again. So I was like, maybe it's because he hosed it down and he soaked them.
No, those magnets are just
shit. They just never worked, and I didn't notice.
One of the only ones that I could get like with a loop. Like it needs to have a loop. It can't be the regular flat ones, like those really strong ones, because there's no way to attach them.
Oh my god! Well, let's talk about that when it's like
that's another off-topic
there's
insider
a time
story
for that.
Yeah,
not now, but let's get back to the Elonia
cancer.
Oh my god! Yeah, definitely later. Elonia, I do want to talk about that because I found out the information, and a friend of mine texted me and with like an emoji, and then the first article that came up was like. Somebody there's two articles that I saw, but the first that came up was basically saying, yeah, we don't want him in our party. Fuck him. And I was like, that is the wrong mentality. No. If like he wants to like turn coat and like be like, you know what? I've learned. I'm off my ketamine. I've learned from the error of my ways. I saw from within how corrupt this administration is. I want no part of it. I'm a Democrat now. I would say, welcome, buddy. Like, right? Wouldn't you?
I think he's a dangerous person, especially with
you can't trust him.
With his autonomous vehicle project. Like, there was just a crash video released where Tesla hit a pedestrian, a 70-something-year-old woman, killed her in autopilot mode. And it's because, like, the video showed it was like sunset and the light blinded the camera and the system didn't deactivate or warn the driver and hit the woman. They don't use radar, LiDAR, any other sensors. It's just cameras. And that's his plan to deploy, which it'll launch in Austin later this year. Robotaxis. Like, you're talking about death machines.
Yeah.
Allowed on public roads.
It's been plagued. Now, I've heard about this for years now, and it's been plagued by the same thing that they're not 100%.
Over and over. Because he's like, if humans can drive with two eyes, cars can drive with cameras. It's like, do you realize that thousands die every year in car accidents?
That's the whole point.
They're bad
you
drivers.
have to come up with something that's safer than humans.
Exactly.
That's the whole
standard
point of
should
it.
not be humans because we're not,
right.
we're good.
They got to be better.
We're not great. And he wants to do it the cheapest way possible. And that's how he thinks he's going to rebuild Tesla's wealth. And I think it's a completely dangerous mission and we shouldn't allow it. But Texas is going to let it happen. He's not allowed to do it here yet. He doesn't have approval, but Texas is going to let him do it. So you're going to have.
Well, that's because he moved his big plant from California to Austin.
Mm-hmm. And he has this whole, what is it called?
Texas is a pit. Fucking Greg
X.
Abbott can suck my cock.
Yeah.
He sucks, dude. Fuck him.
Governor Hot Wheels.
Yeah, fuck him. Who gives a fuck about? Yeah, Hot Wheels. People are up in arms over that. That
was funny.
I'm totally good with it.
Trump is the king of names, like Pocahontas, which is
you
really
reap what you sow, bitch. Yeah, fuck you. And he's an asshole, and he's anti-LGBT, and he's anti-abortion, all this shit. By the way, I'm not pro-abortion, but I'm pro-rights, and you have to, at some point, be able to have a decision on your own body if you're a woman and the one that's responsible for caring for it for 9 months and for taking care of it for the next 18 years after that.
Yes, and I think I would say the pro-life community, I think, should have modeled themselves more after the European model, which has a cutoff, like a strict cutoff.
That's what I've always felt that same. I'm adopted, dude. Hello. Of course I am
unless it's a risk to the mother or the baby's, a severe
rape,
defect.
Incest, or guess what? If the mother is completely destitute, you know what I mean? It's the first 3 months. I don't think you should be able to I can't believe we're talking about this. I really do want to talk about Elon Musk more, but, I believe the first 3 months.
That would be how many? 4, 8, 12. So you're right about in line with Europe. Europe's 13 to 16 weeks, depending on the country.
Yeah. I would say 16 weeks would be the absolute maximum because a fetus does
unless there are extenuating circumstances, like they have to choose, like the mom's going to bleed out if she has a baby.
And she found out late. She didn't know until at that. Yeah, that's different.
There should be exceptions.
Those are anomalies.
Europe does. They do have the exceptions built in. It's not like they allow, like Trump said, after birth abortions, which would be murder.
Yeah.
There is no such thing.
An after birth abortion? Like,
that's just
somebody
murder.
be like, what do you mean? So they killed their infant?
He said, I've seen babies. They kill the baby. They don't want the baby anymore. They just throw it away. It's like, first of all, not true. Second of all, that's called murder. And you go to jail for that. You can't kill a out of the womb breathing child. It just doesn't happen. But
that's why they investigate when they find the babies in the dumpsters. Yep. Because you're not allowed to do that. It's murder. Or attempted.
And just because someone did it doesn't mean like they were legally authorized by like medical practitioners to do that. They are bad parents and murderers.
I'm glad we brought it up only because it's such another illustration of if you go too far on one side and too far on the other, you're fucking it up for the people that the majority of us that have a brain and common sense and are somewhat kind and believe that you have to have you have to protect the people that are most vulnerable and still have to have consequences and penalties if you breach what is appropriate. And God, even something as sensitive as abortion still falls in that parameter of don't go all the way that way and don't go too far that way, because then that's when you have a problem.
Exactly. Anyway. And I think most people are in the middle, but we only get bills that are like DeSantis 6 weeks, which most people don't even know they're pregnant at 6 weeks. No. Like you've just missed your period and you're like,
do you know his fucking wife is running, so he can't run for governor again, but so now they're going to try to like still have a dynasty and have his wife run. Anybody who votes for his wife, fuck you.
It'll be interesting.
And you reap what you sow.
Given the woman thing and the fact that Florida has a very large senior population who even the women don't believe women should have rights.
I hope she gets absolutely creamed, and I think this is a chance. Well, first the Democrats have to reinvigorate and reform their own party and come back swinging with some like new energy and some like non-politician people. Yeah, you know, some sleepers. I'm sure they're already working. They have to be. If I were them, yes. I would be working on all my sleepers in every single faction, every state, every like mayoral election, judges, everything. I want sleepers everywhere. That's the key.
Yeah.
And to come back swinging, getting like independence
picking new,
involved.
Younger generations.
Yes.
Because if you just offer the alternative
new
to whatever her
and
name
young, dude. No more 80-year-olds. Fuck that. Sorry. You can have a couple that are just steering committees and steering like leadership and strategy, because look, you can't just have known 80-year-olds, but the majority, the people that are going to be making the rules for the next 30, 40, 50 years are young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I mean, do you think there should be a cap on age? I mean, we have restrictions
absolutely.
At the low end, like you're not allowed to be president under 36?
Absolutely.
Why shouldn't there be a cutoff for age?
Why would there be a cutoff for age if you're a pilot? When you're in charge of the American people, that's even more like, it's not 400 lives, it's 400 million lives. You're in charge, you should not be 80 years old. Donald Trump's going to be 80 years old soon.
Yeah. The FAA,
he's probably already senile.
Or at least
like, I don't know if it's, he's loony, dude.
I think his senile comes out in different, like his weave, the way he weaves. I think that's part of it.
And
like,
all the non sequiturs and like, it's so discombobulated. And most of the stuff doesn't make any sense.
No. Like did you hear about magnets? Like just, why
it's like the windmills?
Yeah, by the way, windmills don't cause cancer, because I said that before, but then I didn't finish the sentence. That was something that Trump said, and it's not true, obviously.
I mean, look at all the windmills on the way back to Palm Springs, and all those gays are in their 80s and 90s, and they're just fine.
Yes.
Living right next door.
I do admit there is like major risk for migratory birds. Like there could be better designs for windmills, but they kill a huge amount of birds.
Well, planes kill more birds than those windmills.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do about that?
No, but we're talking about like birds, migratory birds who like move from Europe here and then get killed.
No, I hate that. Don't tell me that, because I will be sad. I had to fish. I think I told you on Monday, but you weren't having it. But I fished at a huge roadrunner. I literally had to carry it like this. It was like a big roadrunner. So I guess it went. And you know what's so ironic? Like the day after, we had those isolated huge thunderstorms, And it was pouring rain. Like, had it just held on for one more day, it would have had all the water. But because I filled them up for the wildlife, and it would have had all this water. And I guess it was maybe desperate and then slipped. It's the third time I've found
It slipped
a
and it couldn't
road
get back
runner.
out?
Yeah, because its wings got wet or something. But it's like, it breaks my heart. Like, and I saw its eyes open, and like, it just broke my heart. I hate it. But it's like, what the fuck?
I'm wondering what we can do to prevent that.
Nothing, because then if you prevent that, then you prevent the people, the animals that we want to be drinking that water from getting to the water also. It's a quagmire. But can we please wrap up with Elonia? And then, by the way, I'm not prepared for this episode. I don't even know what I wanted to talk about, but I do want to talk about Elonia because I would welcome him with open arms. And I think it's interesting. Remember how in our first episode, I don't know if we talked about this specifically, but we're like, it's all going to get undone at some point. But how much damage will be done to America that's the key. Like, can we get out before America is damaged for good? We predicted that all of this would hit the fan. Now it's only been, and he's like feeling 5
like exactly
months.
what we're saying. Trump kept him around to be his little punching bag. All of the
used
stuff
and abused.
would be, yep. And I can't believe he didn't realize it sooner. Trump is not loyal to anyone. Trump wants all the loyalty, but he will never give it back. He will never reciprocate. I don't know why Elon thought he would be different.
But I think now that Elonia has the power to now really be like his nemesis, like to be like, I was on the inside, so let me tell you, this is why this guy sucks.
Yeah.
He could turn it around like you wouldn't believe, but that's only if he really
Yes, because I think he's inherently not a great person. Like the unionizing thing's the reason he left California, because he didn't want the union rules for his factories here. He didn't want to have to pay the taxes, which he's a billionaire, but he didn't want to pay taxes to the system which literally California has given him so much money to start the companies, to build the facilities, all of that. And then he just up and moves because he doesn't want to have rules.
I agree with you completely.
But I think he's like antithetical to the Democratic Party, and I think he will come around in publicly, to try to find his community again. But I don't think he actually has the same values,
I think the problem is that he's not a good person.
Yes.
So I would welcome him, but I would never trust him.
Like, he has so many children with so many different women. And
no, he's a scumbag.
He wants to start basically a master race to populate Mars.
No, he's an asshole. And by the way, I don't want to like, he's ugly. He's had all this work done, and he's still barely, maybe just a little bit below average.
The hair is better, but the face,
it's beat.
He should have stopped. He should have stopped a while ago.
He's not a hot guy.
He looks weird.
He's not even like an okay guy. He's a little bit below average. Yeah. That is him. Now, he's super rich. So he's the richest guy in the world. So, and he's got some name recognition now, especially. It's both good and bad. So would I welcome him? Yes. Would I strategically use him for what I need? Yes, I would. Because I know I can't trust him. What we need from him is that money. We need that power. We need we need X to go the opposite direction. And then maybe it wouldn't be such a sewer. You know what I mean? That's what we need. Like, we need him to be like the star witness, you know what I mean? Saying, look, I was on the inside, bam, 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 and be like, whoa. Like, he could help implode this all if he chooses to. And because he's not a good person, if he can be manipulated by one side, just like the other side manipulated him, maybe even despite himself, he can do some good. That's what I would want to see.
There's possibility for good.
If we work it right.
Like, even on X, I heard, their developers spoke out. They were like, the reason you can't get Elon out of the feed is because he forced us to program it so that you will always see his tweets when he tweets. Like,
I believe that. I didn't hear that, but I would 100% believe it, because developers that left and sued, he's still trying to fuck them.
Yeah.
And again, the richest guy in the world is quibbling over like $50,000 severance for people that have worked there since the beginning of Twitter. And you're going to be fighting them on $50,000.
It's a free speech it's the public square. It's like, it's not the public square when you put yourself on the highest pedestal, give yourself a giant ass microphone and scream louder while everyone else is just talking.
Well, that's not free speech if you're manipulating.
No, and it's like,
it's manipulated.
He wants to be an oligarch. And I think he tried to align with Trump because he thought he could influence Trump, but that was not going to happen.
The power corrupts
mistake.
Completely. And when you have two of the most powerful guys in the world, you don't think they're going to come with their ego? They each want to be the other.
Yeah.
So at some point,
Trump wants the money and Elon wants the power.
Yep. And not one person, like, they're not going to give up.
No.
Like they each want what the other one wants, and two wrongs won't make a right in this case. And I feel like they're both in the wrong. But if Elonia wants to make restitution in a way where he can actually prove it, can't trust him. But if he can prove it and say, look, I'm done. I'm done with you guys. I'm not backing any of this shit. I'm pulling my plan out of Austin, whatever. If he's really going to show in actions that he means business, that he's really so disenfranchised that he's going to go the other way, sure, I take him. But if it's just more bluster, more bullshit, and more crap, where he's still a piece of shit, no, fuck him.
Turns the Republicans against him, like, the fallout from this is going to be entertaining, at the very least.
Well, you want to see
them just say all these things about Trump, and Trump just say nothing. So Trump is preparing all probably nicknames, comments, one-liners, and then the base is going to turn against, like, the people who were like, "Oh, I'm going to buy a Tesla now, even though I hate electric vehicles."
Well, they don't have most of them don't have the money. But
no, yeah.
So fuck them. Anyway.
But now everyone's going to hate him, Democrats and Republicans. He's basically being screwed by Donald Trump into being America's most hated man.
Tesla went down again as a result of the falling out.
Yeah,
with the White House, it went down 5%. Yeah. But it should have gone down like 15%. Actually, it should have gone down 50% because I don't know who the fuck, nobody cool is buying Tesla. Sorry. No one. If you're buying a Tesla, you're an asshole and I don't want to know you.
It's too soon. Like you said, if he, whatever,
there's no redemption
comes around, Democrats will start buying them again, even though they were like, why alienate your biggest consumer base? Like, Democrats are the ones, majority, who are buying your electric vehicles.
I mean, let's face it, the guy's a greedy bitch, and the real reason he's super, I mean, look, there's tons under the surface we don't know about, right? But the big, beautiful bill kills all the EV credits.
Yep.
And he runs the biggest EV company in the world, so duh. But didn't you know, you dumb fool, you fuck, didn't you know that Trump was going to pull that? He's been anti-EV. Talk about windmills. He's been anti-EV since the start.
And the tariffs.
He's anti-climate. He's anti-animals. He's anti all this earth stuff that we all look that the earth is a living, breathing organism. Yep. You kill it and we're fucked. And it's nothing but algae. What are your kids all your kids are going to be living on a rock. Like,
his plan is to literally send them to Mars.
Yeah. Well, we're not smart enough to figure that out yet. We can barely get back to the moon without problems.
True.
Stuff's blowing up. Like, no.
Yeah, Tesla or SpaceX.
How many of their ships blew up?
Yeah,
you're going to go on that ship?
Was it February? And I saw a video. Like, I didn't know that this happened, but it blew up into pieces, and then where it rained down over, it was like Sweden and Norway. Like, people were showing, it looked like literally asteroids falling down to Earth. They showed like giant pieces like left over from its booster. Thankfully, most of the area was uninhabited and like mountainous.
What the Earth needs more.
But it's like, dang. Someone eventually is going to get impaled by falling space junk.
Or when they think it's safe, like 5-10 years from now, to send people up there, they're going to be obliterated and literally be blown to bits.
Yeah.
I'm not down with robotaxi.
But he did save the people from the Boeing who were stuck up, the Boeing Starliner, who were stuck up there for like 9 months. It was supposed to be like a 4-day trip, and they were there for 9 months. Did you hear about that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Boeing couldn't get it together to retrieve the capsule. So, NASA worked with SpaceX and sent one of Elon's rockets up there to rescue them.
They sent a rocket to like a space station?
Yeah, they were in this capsule space station built by Boeing called the Starliner. It failed. They couldn't get their boosters to work, so they couldn't get back to Earth.
They were stuck in orbit.
And then NASA didn't have the right, like, Boeing's was developed by Boeing. So you would need like the connectors in space that would attach and let them open up and go into the new vessel. Not possible. NASA's tech didn't work. So they had to have SpaceX develop and match Boeing's tech to get them out off the capsule. Boeing couldn't do it. Like, it's just like, we're trying, but we don't really know what to do.
It's the J.K. Rowling syndrome, where it's like, she's a cunt, but she brings joy and some good to this world. She gives a lot to charity. Elonia has brought Starlink and SpaceX and Tesla. By the way, Tesla 10 years ago was great. Tesla was
and they shifted the Overton window. I mean, my dad thought electric cars were golf carts joke that you have to have an extra long extension cord to get to Walmart.
Oh my word!
You know,
yeah. No, that's crazy. Walmart. Oh, I do hate Walmart.
Yeah, well, that's the only place we had it. It's like 30 minutes.
You were shocked the other day when I told you I've never been to Walmart.
Yeah, I was shocked because it's like 95+% of Americans go to Walmart at least once a year.
Hated, like, I just couldn't imagine what that's like in there. But
the most diverse experience ever. Incredibly rich people and people in their pajamas.
See, I thought that was more like Target.
Target, you'll only see the wealthier people. There aren't.
I don't know about that. I mean, Target is not like Neiman Marcus. Target is still, they sell the same shit that Walmart does.
But it's a nicer experience. The stores are nicer.
Cleaner. I'm sure.
Cleaner.
I mean, look, I don't know. I've never been to a Walmart, but I used to hate even going to Target.
Yeah.
And that was borderline. So I imagine if Target is considered to be the ritzier of the two, I'd probably die in Walmart.
Walmart is an experience.
Yeah, I don't want to experience that. I remember for a charity thing, we had to like go around and get blankets and all that stuff for all the shelters. We were doing it for shelters all around California, so we needed thousands of blankets. And there was like this big, huge list, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I do that." But they're like, "Well, this one's just go to the Walmart; it's closer." I'm like, "No, I'll drive further away. I'm not going to that, whatever it is." No, I've never. I've ordered, but not. Yes. Now, obviously, after the election, Walmart is dead to me. Completely. I don't even order from them. Nothing. I don't care what it is. I don't care how much I would save. I'd rather sell my stuff than have to buy from Walmart. I just won't. There's some things that I will not equivocate to. Like I will buy and live my values, even if it hurts a little bit, because I feel better about it when I go to sleep at night. It's hard. It's hard.
It is. And I mean, Amazon legit evil. Target, thankfully, I don't know if you saw, we talked about this a few episodes ago, but the Target stopped their DEI.
Oh, totally.
All that.
Didn't they double down?
Protests, like the boycotts and whatever, are working incredibly well. Target's sales forecast for the rest of the year is down. It's down like 9% or something. Their stock is down. Their income is down. And store traffic is down. So it's like, people are actually like, okay, this is one I'll go to Walmart instead.
You know who we talked about this, we touched upon it before, but a lot of gays go to Target.
Yeah.
And if 10 to 22% of the population are gay or confused or whatever it is, and those people are mad at Target, there's your 9%.
Gay people and black people have been leading the charge of you wanted to take money away from, you're no longer going to give to HBUs.
Oh yeah, then
and black-owned businesses.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not getting our dollars.
Well, they met with Al Sharpton and they said it was productive or whatever, but then a couple of weeks later they doubled down.
Yep.
So where's I don't know. I really honestly don't know. Where are we now with Target? What's the deal with Target?
Target is going to continue doing what they're doing. They're not going to do DEI because they are active. Them and Walmart are actively in talks with the Trump administration to work out agreements on tariffs for goods. So they don't have to pay increased prices and charge customers increased prices, which is going to drive down traffic even more. So they're
just them. So all the mom and
private meetings with Trump. The CEOs of Target and Walmart did.
And so, but what does someone like Jeff Bezos say about that? I'm not a favorite son. Really? You're going to help them and not me?
Yes, Trump come to him. I guarantee we're talking about Walmart CEO and whatever. These are multi-billion dollar companies. But then you have Jeff Bezos, who's the second richest person in the world and has given to Trump. But
to your point earlier, Trump doesn't care.
No.
Trump comes to no one.
But he won't punish
at some point.
That's what they're trying not to be punished, and they want better outcomes with these tariffs.
Because if he does that, it's a win for Trump, and I don't want to win for Trump at this point because I don't like him anymore. I'm done.
I think
it's not funny anymore.
The reason they all pulled their DEI programs is because they were worried Trump would punish them, publicly speaking out against them, or.
But how can Trump let them not have the tariffs and then everybody else still has them?
Agreements. Contract agreements for goods, from certain distributors, or letting them move it to somewhere else and then come to the U.S. There's all kinds of things that these companies
can divert all the rules just for these two organizations because they're so big and so impactful enough and important to Trump enough that he would do it for them and not for anybody else. And everybody else will die. All the mom and poppers will die.
Yes.
Amazon might even suffer from it, but those two companies will be.
Amazon will be fine too because I'm sure that they are working out with Trump.
Okay, so the message is.
But the thing is, they're warning him it's going to be really bad if we have to start charging, your tariff. Most of the stuff in our country is from China. So if we have to either our shelves will be bare or the prices are going to go up and people are going to be really pissed. So they're basically not threatening him, but they're like, this is what's going to happen. This is what we will have to do.
But how do you do tariffs to China, but not for Walmart and Target? It's impossible.
It's not a blanket China like tariff. You would exempt,
all this talk
you exempt
and
certain
no
goods. That's what you would do. You would exempt like toys, whatever else, hardware, those kind of things. Clothing. Most of our clothes come from overseas.
I would never buy something from China. Oh my stars. No.
I guarantee most of the stuff, like the pillows, probably made in China. These chairs are probably made in China.
Those pillows were for sure not made in China. They're actually
are they?
Really, these are Inhabit pillows. I would die. I mean, they don't look like great now, but these are probably like, I don't know, $150. It doesn't say. I just can't even imagine.
You would be
these maybe
incredibly
like
surprised.
These chairs. We got an HD Buttercup. These are not like expensive chairs.
Your cell phone was made in China. This bag was definitely made in China. That was made in China. That was made in China. Guaranteed.
Well, I'm sure it's all those electronics. Of course, that boomerang. Yeah, I love that. By the way, thank you, China. I hate the meat trade.
Designed in Denmark, produced in China. That's like Apple. Designed in California, made in China.
Oh, is that what they have on Apple? Oh my God, I don't even know. I'm trying to find the light in all this, but the more we talk, the more I'm getting depressed because the world is so fucked up. Like, I kind of want Taco to chicken out, but I also kind of want him to go all in because I want him to fail. Because if he does what he wants to do and has been saying he's going to do without chickening out, he will fail. But people will suffer, but so will Walmart and Target, and maybe they'll get a clue. Like, I think people have to hit rock bottom. I say it all the time. And I don't like what's happening now where he's trying to figure out a way to shield the people that need the lesson the most from learning that lesson. So I guess the moral of the story is we got to keep up the fight. And no matter what, like you mentioned earlier about Tesla, like we can't forget. We can't let this go.
No, yeah.
We have to, I'd rather those companies go under, which won't happen, but no, I'd rather they go under than keep this up as it is because the stakes are too high.
Tesla's full lineup is the most American made vehicles in the world. Like, next to, I think it's like the BMW, like the SUVs, which they export a huge amount. They're going to get an exemption. They're working with Trump on their specifically, like an exemption.
So, but if everyone's working for exemptions, who's the one who's going to get squeezed?
Small businesses that have no leverage. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to reshore and, make Chinese goods more expensive. But if we were producing in the U.S., like instead of giving $5 trillion tax cut to the rich, investing $5 trillion in American manufacturing, that would change things. That would make products accessible, like we saw over COVID. Everything just disappeared because we didn't make anything. Toilet paper.
Oh my God.
We didn't even have toilet paper. We need to make things in the U.S.
We lucked
but we need money to do that.
In COVID because I buy enough because we don't have an earthquake kit, but I have tons of stuff here all the time that if there ever was a problem, we have enough stuff of all the stuff we need. I've always been that way ever since I moved to California. So before COVID hit and everybody was struggling for toilet paper, I already had 30 rolls of toilet paper because I always do. So I remember because I remember going to the farmer's market during COVID and there was because I didn't want to go to a supermarket.
Yeah.
We went once and it was crazy. They had nothing, but we're vegan. So it was easy. They had stuff for us, but you would look at where there was beef and eggs and there was nothing. There was literally nothing. Yep. It was completely empty. And then there would be the soy and the oat milk. So I was like, oh, we have the same selection we always do. So it was fine. But then when you go to the farmer's market and there was oh my God, dude. Anyway, I don't want to go back there because that was some crazy time.
No, but that's what they're risking with these crazy tariffs of Walmart and Target. If you keep these almost 100% tariffs on China, we're not getting anything. We can't afford to import. Our shelves are going to go bare.
How does China feel about this?
China? Are you kidding me? Their economy has exploded. Their citizens are buying more because they have more in country and they're lowering the prices because it's fine, we're not going to ship it to you. We'll just make it cheaper for our citizens. And then other countries, they have the rest of the world to distribute to, Africa, India.
That's what I would do if I was China. Do you think that what do you think will happen? Do you think this tariff, idiocy is going to end up biting Trump eventually, and our economy will still sink. Because right now the economy is still good. He inherited an amazing economy.
Yes.
We're still okay. But do you think that, like, despite all this backdoor shit from Walmart and Target and everybody else trying to get an exemption, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think it's still going to blow up?
I think, well, they're still saying, like, we had almost 30 days where nothing was coming to the U.S. from China, like almost no shipments. So there's still going to be a reverberation in the economy. Prices are going to go up. The tariffs are still in effect, mainly on things that later this year are going to be Christmas, toys and stuff like that you can't get your kids.
You're giving me like, the CNN answer.
It was like $1. Kids can have $1 instead of 12.
I'm asking for the It's a Wonderful Strife answer, not
I'm
CNN.
saying we haven't felt the effects of the tariffs yet, but once we are, like, the cars, all the 2024s and whatever, and then all of a sudden car prices
it's too
are
soon.
all thousands more. Yes.
Despite all the backdoor double dealing,
here. Yes.
It will still blow up at some point.
It's going to happen soon.
And China doesn't really give a shit about any of this shit. Like, China is already saying, even if Trump reverses everything, China's already saying, we're done with you. We're just going to ship everywhere else. To some degree.
This is a little off topic, but it'll come back around. So remember when Russia invaded Ukraine and we basically cut Russia off? Like, no more trade with Russia.
Yeah.
All the American companies were forced to leave Russia.
Yes.
China sat there and watched and saw how Russia will do with all this punishment
China
from
helped
the
them.
US. Yes, China helped them, but they saw Russia just started cooperating with other countries and no longer needed the US. So they were like, it's kind of like a beta test. Like, let's see what happens. Can you survive without the US? And it turned out, yes, you can.
So now China knows it is the world power. China has realized that they don't need the US.
Unfortunately, yes, which is
except for
scarier than anything else. Yes.
Entertainment.
I mean, they do have a huge entertainment industry themselves.
I know, but they like US.
They do, yes.
They like our
and all of our American companies censor and cut and edit content for China. Like, anything that their censors don't like, they will edit or change for China so they can get those billions. Because it's huge. You're talking about over 1 billion people in China versus 350?
Something like that, yeah.
350 million?
Mm-hmm.
Huge population.
Well, I'm interested to see how this plays out. Now, I feel sorry for our small businesses. I really do in this country.
Small businesses and the working class, because things are going to continue to get more expensive. He promised to lower prices, but that's not going to happen.
I did just read an article about that prices are expected to increase by another 10% before the end of the year.
That's what I'm saying. It's not happened yet because we still have stock of stuff that wasn't hit with tariffs. But once that's gone, all of this new stuff is more expensive by at least 10%.
So all those people that voted for him because he's going to bring down costs, when it starts to go up, are they going to get a clue? Because I don't believe in them anymore. I feel like we got a lot of brain dead people in this country.
I think some of them will continue. They're going to listen to whatever Trump has to say about it. It was Biden's fault.
But they got no money. They have even less money.
I'm saying a small portion will never turn against him. I think a larger portion will be like, wait a second. You
suck.
Not only not getting better, it's getting worse. It's going to be.
Once somebody gets hit in the pocketbook.
And that big bill, that big, beautiful bill, if it passes, if you're talking about Medicare, Medicaid cuts, SNAP benefit cuts, all kinds of cuts to lower class people who likely were Republicans.
I mean, look, there's a lot of lower class people that are Republicans.
Yes.
There's a lot of WTs that are on SNAP and on Medicaid. And those are his base.
Yep.
What are they going to do when they have no benefit? Are they still going to be his base?
I think
how's that going to work?
Like we saw,
kind of like Elonia
stirring the pot.
Elonia bit the people that built his fortune. Oh yeah, you're going to invest in my Tesla. Now I'm going to go to the president that doesn't care about EV. Duh. So is that what's going to happen? Where his maggots are going to be like, no, bitch, you just took what I only had $19 left in my bank account, and you even took that.
I'm hoping he gets, especially with Elon gone, and there's not like a buffer or a punching bag. I think more of it, the hate is going to
go. Will go to him.
Exactly. We're in a conversion period. Prices are going to go up. There's no more punching bag, and he will be on the line for all of it. I think you can change minds by that. It's not going to happen overnight. It just won't.
I believe.
I think it's like a frog in boiling water, a slow heat, and it's sometimes too late before you realize.
I hate that analogy. The frog.
I know, but it's like.
I hate animal cruelty, man. I just can't. I can't deal anymore. I know. People are so sick and so disgusting that I look to the animal kingdom for some hope in this earth. And when they're treated so poorly, just getting worse and worse. Even a fake analogy about it, I hate it.
Okay.
Because someplace in the world, a frog is being dissected for no reason, or boiled, or eaten.
True.
Or just stepped on by some fucking wimp, dickless asshole.
True. Or run over, unfortunately.
I'm just starting to hate, like, humanity. There's a lot of great people, but most are.
Yeah, remember I said I wanted to do like inspirational stories? I saw this video the other day, and there's like hundreds of volunteers that come out for this toad to help it cross the road. Like, a lot of them were dying, and the toad became endangered. And so what they did is, like, at night they have people go out there with their buckets, they collect the frogs, and they take them past
because they want to cross to mate, right?
They need to cross to get over to the river. It's like they live on one side. Grow up there, and then they have to go to the pond to mate, and they go back.
I figured it was a mating thing.
Yeah, they need to help them cross. It was like, you can just see hundreds of them dead. So now they have people like stand out in the road, they slow cars down, they collect all the little toads and put them on to the other side. And it's completely volunteer. Like, people come out, they have like toad shirts, little, toad keychains. Like, they really like toads. And it's like, you can help in small ways.
I love it, man.
Very cute story. I was like, you go out there midnight till 5 a.m. to help the toads cross. It's just,
I love the sound that they make. We have a couple.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're toads or frogs, but that live in the back there. And
remember that one,
the dogs
the apple
chase
tree?
them.
I was watering the apple tree you have, and I showed you that video. The little toad
that popped out of that hole. Yeah, I kept it. It's the cutest thing. The ones out really back, the little mini orchard.
The shower. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, I do like this idea. Can you do an inspirational story every
Definitely. I'm always finding these stories.
We have to sew it in somewhere, because I need it for me, because it it's a highlight that Elonia is now figuring, oh, I attached my little cock to the wrong Puda. You know what I mean?
Yes.
To me, there's a glimmer of hope, but like mostly in politics, especially now in the Trump administration, it's like so bleak. I need the inspiration. I need more toad people.
I have a funnier story, and it goes back to Elon Musk, but I don't know if you saw the picture of him with the black eye, which is real.
No, how did he get it?
The best story in the entire universe. He was,
he looks terrible.
Goodbye. He looks horrible. He has a black eye. And they asked him, like, the reporter asked, how did he get a black eye? And he said, well, I told X, the little boy, he named him X, little X, to punch me in the face. And he did. He told his kid to punch him in the face, and the kid actually did it.
Yeah, what do you
I don't know why. It's like he had to go to the Oval Office with a black eye from a 5-year-old.
What a loser.
It's just like...
Maybe I don't want him around. Like, he's just a fucking idiot.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
He's an idiot, but look, I think Trump's an idiot. Like, some people are like dumb in being a human and still savvy and strategic and smart in life and being able to achieve. And he's an achiever, but he's still a momo.
He didn't do it by himself. You have a huge team of talented geniuses at all of the companies.
And Trump inherited his money, so he already had a leg up on everybody. I mean, literally, he was a multimillionaire as soon as he was born. So, like, that is not, to me, somebody that I would look up to. And then his personality and all of this.
What's it called? The Great Man or story? It's like these origin stories of these one great person, like Edison or whatever. It's like there were people years before developing this, and he built on. It was like there's no singular genius that comes up with things. No. It's like you're building on technology that already existed.
Exactly. No, exactly. But to be a great man, I feel like you have to, like, you're not less of an innovator if you build from what everybody else has already researched and already like figured out and say, oh, I find a better way. Or let me combine these two and get to X, get to this. I even say, as an analogy, like, I don't even like saying, hey, to get, like, I just did it to get to X. I don't even like the letter X anymore. I used to, like, with texting to people that I care about, I do XO. 3 X's, never XOs, just 3 X's. Kind of because it's a double entendre and it's also like kind of like dirty. But, now I hate X. Because this loser has now adopted. I mean, he named his kid X. Are you serious? Mm-hmm. And he asked him to punch him, and he punched him, and he's like, "Oh."
His 5-year-old, who was picking boogers and sticking it on Trump's desk in the last meeting when he brought him to the Oval Office.
I had in grade school Beth Wagner, who was hot. Even in grade school, she was gorgeous, and she used to like pick her nose and then eat them. I'll never forget her. And she'd like, I'd be like, oh, Beth, girl. And she would like laugh. Like, Beth Wagner. But she was like, we're, 5th, 6th, 7th grade. She was hot. She had big blue eyes and gorgeous long blonde hair, but she was like a booger eater.
People are so layered.
And she's one of those few people, like, my memory is so shoddy and crazy, but I'll never forget what she looks like, and I never forget her eating bugs. And also being like, kind of like jovial and funny about it, and I'd be like, ah! And I'd scream, and she would still always laugh. She was just like the sweetest girl. Who knows? I mean, I wonder, she can't still be eating boogers, could she?
Let's find out. Maybe we should be our first guest host.
Beth Wagner. Well, I would want to know more than the boogers. I'd want to know if she was still hot, because she was like really hot.
Beth Wagner?
Well, no, I don't want to give because I'd have to tell you like where I'm from and all that. I want to give all that shit away. And that's to an American name. It's kind of like Ben Miller. Like, you know what I mean? There's going to be a million Beth Wagners.
All I need is like a city or a school.
Right, but she had, I don't know her whereabouts since 8th grade. All right. Well, that's scary.
Well,
and in the Big Beautiful Bill, I guess, so Peter Thiel, do you know who he is?
Yes.
Trump is trying to get, information on every American.
Yep.
In any way possible. This is some scary shit. This is some Big Brother.
Palantir is the company. Yes. That he's going. Yeah.
Like, it's some scary shit. And I don't know if this has any reflection on that, but like, whenever someone says cookies, like strictly, active cookies or functional cookies and other stuff, like, I always say no to everything. If it's a web page that it says, this is an unsecured page, I never open it. Like, I'm just our own government wants to spy on us now that Trump's in office.
Talk about precedent.
It's some scary shit.
Bush and the ability to mass surveil the American people, that is how this will be allowed to be ushered in as national homeland
security.
Started
20 years ago.
Yes.
And now he's building on, just like we just said, he's building on the innovation of his predecessor, but it's in a macabre, in a dark way, an evil way. Yeah. He's not doing it for good. He's doing it so he can stay in power. We gotta stop this shit. The midterms are the only hope.
But like evil, finding people to more easily deport them, using ICE illegally. Like, they have no jurisdiction. I've heard they're like grabbing people out of cars and houses, unmarked vehicles. Like, they're federal. They don't have local jurisdiction. They're not allowed. Like, you can tell them, I'm an American citizen. I don't have to show you anything.
They have full jurisdiction.
They don't ask questions. They just grab you.
Do you know that it's illegal to lie? You can lie to the police.
Yes.
And it's not illegal, but you can't lie to the FBI. That is a felony.
Yeah.
They have actually more jurisdiction. You have to be careful. The government.
The FBI, yes. ICE, no. ICE has no jurisdiction over American citizens because their job is immigrants.
I heard they're doing whatever they want. Who's stopping them? What are you going to, how are you going to stop somebody if the law enforcement is, are maggots or bought and paid for it? What are you going to do if the judges are maggots and bought and paid for it? Like, look at our Supreme Court. Who's going to stop these people? That's why you have to have checks and balances. That's why you need, like, we got to make America like normal again. We got to make America fucking fair again.
I mean, even the courts though,
lying wrong again,
ruled against him and said you can't do that. You can't just like send people to Ecuador, and he still does it.
You got to have consequences. You got to, especially for someone like him. We've
said the president. There are no consequences that we can.
We haven't said that. The Supreme Court.
Yes,
which is why you can't have a maggot Supreme Court. You can't. You can have, look. In some ways, I'm conservative. I am not anti-Republican. I hate Republicans now because look at what they're doing to our country. Now I'm fed up. I'm pissed. But do I have conservative beliefs? Yes, I do in some ways. But what's happening now is some insane shit. And what he's doing now is a whole nother level of Republican corruption and crazy. That's like, it's so crazy. It's so nuts. I can't even say enough about it. And I don't even know the day-to-day like you do. I don't listen to a lot of political podcasts, and I know you do.
Yeah.
I read a lot, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, even internally, he's very upset that the Supreme Court is not upholding his ability to just mass deport people or send people to other countries.
But he's still doing it.
He's still doing it because there's nothing that they can do, but at least they are saying this is illegal. Like, you can't do this. They're not siding with him. So at least you have that, but there are no consequences. Like, we're talking about Republican to the max, conservative libertarian judges who believe Trump has basically free power saying, that's a little too far. I think it's too late to have stopped him. Like,
do you think they regret
back earlier?
Do you think they regret giving him all this power?
I think they can be like, not care. Like, it doesn't matter to them. They're all incredibly wealthy. And they all will have their appointments for life.
They're Supreme Court.
They're completely above it.
They think they're the shit.
Yes.
How come he's mad at Amy Coney Barrett?
She wrote a brief against him. Like in the court against his, not listening to the lower courts about sending those people to Venezuela.
So it's the same with the deportation. She's basically saying, look,
because it's illegal.
You're breaking the law.
Yes.
Like, here's the law. There's no way around it. Even I'm saying you're breaking the law. And she made it a point to write a brief about it, and he didn't like that.
No.
Well, I have some respect for her, where I didn't before.
Too late. Like, they were crucial in overturning Roe v. Wade. It was like, you just kept going with him. And
I'll never forgive.
You gave him too much leash, and now he's got the whole thing.
You'll never forgive, but we can still give.
Yes,
I still can say, look.
Yes.
Good on you. Finally, there's one good thing where you do have a shred of integrity.
Finally showed where your line is, I guess. That would be.
That's what because that's her. It's like a doctor.
Yeah, actually calling out the Constitution is a little too far.
Wow. Well, look, the good news is that if you, the richest man in the world, you're disaligned with that person, that's a problem. And I like that. A problem for Trump is good for all of us.
I like he got basically a butt whooping. I like Elon getting whooped. Like he got so great with his stupid chainsaw and jumping on stage and doing the Hitler gesture. It was like,
and then he didn't even take accountability. He could have just been like, you know what? I know how that looks. It's bad. But he was like,
he said everyone who's ever been on stage and talked has done that gesture. And it's like, no, they haven't. No one does the Heil Hitler.
No, nobody does that. And he made it seem like this is like a blue manipulation. Yes. Like, it was so stupid and so like contrived. Like,
I think he got upset because everyone started to call him a Nazi. That was like the official, and writing not like Molotov
not everybody hates him, though.
Tesla.
Not everybody hates him. That's a problem for me. Like, if who would stand up for this guy?
We're getting close to that point. Like I said, where both sides dislike him, because once Trump starts railroading him fully, the base is going to turn, and he's going to have co-equal branches that hate him.
We can't forgive or forget. We can.
And I don't want him on our team. He's too great. He's too
a bad person.
He's not a great person.
No, but I want that richness. I want that reach. If he can be manipulated by Trump, he can be manipulated by
but
the
he
rest
does
of
it
the world.
For his own ends. Like that is what he wants. He wanted his own little tariff cut out because the Tesla computers are all made in China.
I'll make him double down on climate. Okay, bring everything back to do this, do that, and everything's going to be good for climate, and it might be good for Tesla too, but as long as the climate is going to, because guess what? This world will end if we don't. You want your EV credits? You do this.
And there are even more companies. I saw Ford is going to pause production on their first ever American battery plant. Like, they would manufacture the batteries here with Panasonic. They're not going to finish the factory anymore. They're just going to pause it. Like, we would have employed thousands of people to work on batteries.
Where was that battery?
Where was that factory in Kentucky?
Yeah. So Kentucky, anybody in Kentucky?
So you're talking about a lot of people who voted for Trump, who would have had jobs at this new Ford facility, are no longer going.
Because of him.
Because he's going to because they were getting grants from the Biden Build Back Better plan to build battery and new energy parts and electronics in the U.S.
Wow. I did not.
And now they're just not going to do it.
You tell me about a lot of stuff I didn't know, which I appreciate, because I feel like, you know what? I feel bad. And then I kind of take it back immediately after, being like, well, these fuckers voted for him. Kentucky has a huge Republican contingent.
The pot will continue to boil. We're turning up.
Although they have a governor who's great,
yes.
Andy Bashar,
and they came out resoundingly and approved the protection of abortion in the state, because they were trying to, after Roe v. Wade, they were going to eliminate the ability to get
Kentucky
abortion.
Kentucky might be like a sleeper state.
It is in some ways. I think you have a good amount of younger people.
If they get disenfranchised enough
yes.
and fucked over by this administration, a state like Kentucky and even Iowa could flip.
Yes.
Truly.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know about Florida, but if we have a sleeper candidate, maybe you need, like you said, a guy in Florida, And I think it has to be somebody who's not like, you got to have name recognition, but not somebody who's a politician.
No.
Like if Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson ran in Florida, yes.
He would honestly probably stand a good chance, to be honest.
You know what I mean? Like someone like, and by the way, I don't know, I think he's still independent, but you would like that. And he does have some conservative leanings, but like, so do I.
And he seems like a genuinely like decent person. He seems humble. Like he doesn't seem like
I have a story about him
Do you?
at Gold's Gym in Venice when I lived in Venice.
Okay, you met him in person.
I did, but
are my inclinations right on the like decent human, like a genuinely?
No, he was very nice to me, but it wouldn't be for the reason that you think.
Okay,
it's and I love this story, but I've only told one other person.
You don't want to release it?
No.
Exclusive?
No. This guy's one of the biggest stars in the world. I'm not going to say
hit on you.
Shit.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying nothing. Zero. I like him. I'm down with him and I would vote for him. And I know nothing about many of his stances, but I do know right now when we're at the bottom of the swamp where it's getting murkier and dirtier and more deep and more disgusting, I would vote for someone that I didn't know who was automatically the lesser of two evils than what's going on now. Because what's going on now is democracy ending. And I want America to continue.
Yeah.
So I would vote for someone I didn't. That's the scary part, right? Like the unknown, it's got to be better than this shit, dude. This is some shit. Like I was thinking
that's a funny breaking point. Like when you would finally go for the unknown instead of, it's like the devil you know versus the devil you don't. And most people just go with what's familiar. But the fact that you're like, now I would choose basically anyone. I would choose a dog to be president over.
Oh, I would absolutely choose me.
Did you know that there's a town mayor that's a dog? That'll be next week's story.
Oh, the inspirational? I heard about it, but I don't know anything about it.
Super cute. It's a town mayor, yeah. I don't know how it's legal for him to be, but it is. It's like a small town or whatever, and everyone knows the dog.
But someone's got to make the decision. The dog can be there for like pomp and circumstance.
I think that the mayoral role is really title, and I think that they don't actually have power, like a governor.
Is it like a board of selectmen or some stupid shit like they have in Massachusetts where they?
No, it's like a really small town with like less than 1,000 people or something, and
maybe they don't even need a mayor.
They don't. No, it's more like a title only, and so they elected a dog.
I wonder if that town is so well run because of the I guess camaraderie or whatever. Like it is nice possible. Where is it? Do you know?
I don't remember. Let me look it up.
It could be a place. Is it still in the United States?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Because I'm thinking
only in the United States would you have a dog elected.
I don't know. That sounds like a forward-thinking European thing to do, but I do love it, and it may be because if the midterms don't do what I think they will do, and that I'm hoping they will do, we may move to Canada. If Putin dies, I might move to Russia because it's so beautiful. Like I always thought, the Kremlin and that architecture, is astounding. Like when I was little, I always wanted to go to Russia. That was the place. Tahiti and Russia.
It's very colorful.
But I wouldn't, I just not the way it is now.
No.
I wouldn't even travel there as a tourist, even with money, even staying at the best hotel. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't feel safe. But it's beautiful. Like at least in pictures. Okay. Where is it?
It's Idlewild.
Idlewild in California?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's like right here.
Yep. His name is Mayor Max II.
Idlewild. Have you ever been there? It's a totally different climate.
I've driven through there, yes.
It's like living in the mountains.
Yes.
And you drive 45 minutes down the hill and you're in Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? California is the shit.
Yes.
It's really amazing. California is really amazing. And then an hour in the opposite direction, you can be at the ocean.
Literally.
With no traffic. If there's traffic, you're fucked.
Last year we went up to, Big Bear, snow, came back down, went to Newport Beach next day. So snow and then beach. It's incredible? Only possible here.
In California.
Love it.
Literally, it's one of the only places in the world that you can have all of that. You literally drive a couple hours and you can have desert, you can have beach, you can have snow, and you can have forestal, not rainforest type thing, but lush green, all of that is within a couple hours drive at pretty much any time of year.
Yep.
California is the shit. I just wonder if California gets pissed off enough at this administration and if the midterm, which I'm not even going to think that way. I know the midterms are going to go our way, but could California fight back? Could they say, okay, you don't believe in laws? We're not going to give anything to Kentucky anymore or Alabama or anybody else. You don't want to fucking like, be an administration that believes in the rule of law, the true, like our rules in this country of democracy. We're not going to do any of this shit. We're not going to comply. Could they do that?
Possibly. I mean, I think we're our own system, like Gavin Newsom. He totally.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of his.
None of our politicians really do anything.
Well, because California is so wealthy, like it's really hard because we don't have bad economic times. We have a animal shelter problem and a homeless problem and all. Yes, of course we do.
A housing problem.
Housing.
Affordability
Absolutely,
here is
100%.
just
insane.
Like,
but it's still the best state, the richest state in the union. It's literally carrying the rest of America. I'm sorry. I
mean, I moved here from Florida.
I would
with a dream to be here because I always wanted to live here.
Yeah. I mean,
and I want to keep
you have to
that
experience
way,
being by the beach at some point.
Yes,
because that's the true California.
The beach with the mountains. That is what makes this place.
I had to cancel my vacation, and I did not get to go to my beach getaway, and I desperately need it. At this moment, I wish I could just get in the car and go because it really is.
San Diego?
I love it. It's not even like the best hotel, but I love it. It's perfect. Like the minute I get there, like the air is salty, the breeze is cool. You literally, even when you're checking in, you can hear the waves crashing. Like that's perfect. And people watching, you will get all types. You will get the ugliest of the ugly and the hottest of the hot and everywhere in between. But for the most part, it's more skews on the hot. You know what I mean?
It sounds like Walmart, except for the opposite in that point. Like when you go to a Walmart, there's like...
Yeah. No, we're talking like there could be some dude roller skating in the Speedo and some girl in like a bikini at breakfast who literally is drop dead gorgeous, like 10 plus. Like, but there's so many of them that there's a lot going on. Sometimes it's too much. Like on a Sunday night, I go when it's like not as crowded, but like Sunday, it's still crazy. Like you can hear the thumping from the club next door and like all the goings on. It's so busy. And first thing in the morning, you look out and there's surfers out. It's not even light yet. And there's surfers out there.
Yeah.
It is. But that's California.
Yeah. They
don't care about Jaws. They don't care about shit. But it's Monday morning at 4:30 and they're out
that
surfing.
Culture, is a dedicated
But you have
one.
to experience that because that's California. It's just so out there.
And most of the surfers look the same, like long.
No, they don't.
They don't. Okay.
They don't. You'll get, especially there, and I think it's a California thing too. Like, yes, they have the long hair. You have the short hair. You have tatted. You have big jocks.
Like the VW van.
Dude,
or whatever.
You have dad
like,
bods. One time I saw a gang of dad bod surfers, but they were really good looking. But dad bods. But you would like zipping up that suit could be tough for some of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they had big arms. They were like well built, but they were dad bod built, you know? But it was interesting because I was like, damn, dude, this is like a fucking gang of dad bod surfers. Like you wouldn't like say that is like your atypical surfer, but there's no such thing as an atypical surfer in California. It's all types. There's a bunch of girls. I thought they were dykes. No, they were because they met their husbands later. And when I go there, I literally just walk the beach twice. I do it in the morning and then I do it again at dusk because I want to see the sunrise and I want to see the sunset. And you'll see
the sunsets
everything.
I miss that in Santa Barbara. Go down mountains and right over the ocean. Ugh.
The sunset yesterday here was so incredible. I literally couldn't look at it because I was seeing all the spots. Yeah. The sun. So let's say this back wall here with all the books, right, was my scape of where I was walking on the trail. The sun took up the entire like middle section. The sun was so huge and so orange, and it cast like this weird. I'd look up on and see the donkeys on the hillside, and they were just like this has happened before recently. Yeah. I think it's this time of year though too, but it was just like it looked like a postcard. It was just the donkeys were all black at the top because it was a shadow, and the hills were like yellow and green, and then there was this orange cast. And there was almost no clouds.
Looks like a painting.
It was like a painting. And then like this little errant tree that seems to grow with no water anyways, but still thriving. It was like, it was amazing. I love California.
Our sunsets are the best.
I'm thinking about, like, I'm giving it till the midterms because, like I'm being totally serious. Like, I can move to Canada. I can move. It's just the animals. That's my only worry. But I don't want to live in a country where I don't feel like there's democracy. I can't live in a lawless land. I can't live where there's two sets of rules.
Yeah.
I know the rich are always going to have more. Look, I was one of them. Sorry, I've lived
You never reached the
No. By today's standards, maybe I wasn't rich, but we were okay. We were well off. Now because of corruption, it's a whole new level where the 1%, the 2%, the 5% are so mega wealthy.
Yeah.
But only by pushing all those other people down. I'm not down with that. My parents were working professionals. I've worked my whole life. I told you that when I was 15, I was working at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like I was a dishwasher. I didn't tell you that. And when I left that, I can't say the name because you obviously can figure it out with 2 seconds on your computer and figure. But the owner, it was a family run business. She started crying. I'd only worked there for 6 months. She's like, "You were the best dishwasher.
Aww.
If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it good."
Yeah.
If you know what I mean? I'm going to be your dishwasher. I'm going to do your dishes like I'm fucking so militant, like on Danish skids. Like, I want to make sure that those are the cleanest, most antiseptic dishes ever of all time. And that's the kind of, like, I believe in working hard and getting something out of it. Like, I worked in entertainment. That was a tough job. And granted, some of the stuff in front of the camera was easy. But like working at an entertainment company where, talk about crazy, like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But I work for every fucking dollar. And that's a different, like, I am privileged, but I work for it.
Versus the ultra wealthy, which, what is Elon doing? Getting punched in the face by his 5-year-old? What is...
he's going to bring up another turd like himself.
Yeah, what is Bezos doing?
No consequences.
Sailing around in his giant-ass yacht. And what is Trump doing? Golfing. Like, they don't work. They don't do anything. They don't contribute to society.
I already talked about that bullshit with his golfing being the top line item of the new budget. So he's not paying for veteran care. He wants to cut Medicaid, USAID, all this shit. But he wants to make sure there's $300 million for security detail for him, his family, and their like extended family so that he can do more outings and more golf. I mean, it's written in a document. Yep. Is that not the most insane? That's not the America I believe in. So yeah, if the midterms, and I think it's all going to be fine. It's going to be painful, but it's going to be fine. But look, I would leave America. I would, because I just don't believe in it anymore. If it's going to be like this.
Yeah.
I just think it's not going to be. I have hope.
No, and you have to stick around because if everyone who like,
I don't want to be like a Rosie O'Donnell.
And like, then you're only left with the people
or
who
Ellen
agree
DeGeneres,
with him, you know?
Yeah. I'm not like a dyke that will ditch my country over nothing.
Yeah.
But this is not nothing. This is something. This is big and bad, not big and beautiful. That's the problem. It's bad, dude. And beautiful. It's really bad. And I'm hating on the Marco Rubios and the Kristi Nomis and all these cunts. I'm just so sick of all these Trump hoes. Like, I hate that nobody seems to have any integrity. They're just going to side with their side because that's what keeps them in power.
Yep.
That's what upsets me.
Especially Ruby. Like, most of them, Kristi Nome really had no values except for,
who?
Kristi Nome never had no values. But Marco Rubio was a big proponent of USAID. Like,
and look, he
totally,
when it comes to him or doing what's right, he says, I'll pick myself.
His own values. Yep.
I mean, what kind of a person is that? I don't want that person
you look
having
like a little
power.
bitch. Like, you could play him talking about
him and
then,
small
and then
hands.
him being like, we're going to do this. It's the right thing, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you knew what USAID was. It was we're technically doing a good thing. But again, we're influence peddling, making sure other countries like us so we can use them.
Yeah.
Take resources, minerals, whatever. But
not to mention it's doing what's right for the people that could not help themselves. It's the lowest. It's like actually
Ebola vaccines, HIV treatment, all these things.
How about food and water? Some of it is just about food and water because there's places in this earth that don't even have
like
that.
Places that don't have medicine or access to medicine. We're talking about like
they don't have access to like Tylenol.
Exactly.
Or like antiseptic, which I desperately need because I was replanting that blueberry bush and something pricked me and I think it put something in my finger. It's really killing me. Between my feet and my hand today.
You should check that out. Maybe you have a splinter.
Well, I tried to dig it out with a toenail clipper, but I don't think it was a splinter. Like, I think it was like a piece of metal or something. It was something.
Oh, the gopher guard.
Did you put gopher guard in those blueberry bushes?
Yeah.
Well, then hopefully it's not a splinter, but it really hurts.
No, yeah, I got stabbed by the one on the apple tree. It really hurt too. You have your tetanus shot, right?
Yeah, when the gopher.
Because that's what you have to worry about, yeah.
I had to take a gopher out of Trixie's mouth, got R.I.P. Trixie, and the gopher bit me as I was saving its life. So
that's rabies. Tetanus is for like rusty metal.
Yeah, no, I know, but
you got both?
I had both. Okay. Yeah, 5 years
then
prior.
You'll be good. It'll heal. Yeah, tetanus is the only thing you've got to worry about. Really,
it really hurts.
Poked by metal.
Really
it's jagged. Yeah.
But so anyway, those people don't even have like fucking Neosporin.
Yeah, clean water, food,
they have nothing.
Medical supplies.
And this fucker Marco Rubio
and benefiting America while we do it. Like farmers in America are growing and selling directly to USAID, who distributes it. No more revenue from those streams.
What happens? So even over and above doing what's right for these people, so he fucked over all these American farmers.
Yep.
Most of which probably voted for Trump.
I've seen videos and they've had people talking on breaking points from those communities, and they are pissed. They're like, "This is not what I voted for. This is not what I thought was going to happen." He never talked about USAID. Again,
are there enough
smaller,
people
more rural?
Disenfranchised?
It's a subset. It's families who actually farm, and
those are his voters. Those are his base.
Yes, exactly. It's very targeted, but it's a smaller population. But you're getting all these different demographics and groups being hurt by his economic policies, which they didn't think were going to happen. He didn't say anything about cutting USAID or eliminating the program. Like, I don't think farmers would have been happy with that. If you're selling to USAID, like, where do you sell your stuff to then? No one wants all your excess wheat or corn. Like, there's no use for it. You have enough for everything else. Like, we were buying it as a surplus on purpose. You were growing to sell to USAID.
They voted for him because of his stance, his like contrarian personality, and his stance on abortion and his stance on immigrants. And they didn't realize that that comes along with the risk of all of whatever the fuck he wants to do, because he's so unhinged. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. And they were like, well, wait, he could make decisions that could hurt me. Duh. And that's why I want to see that happen. Because again, I do believe in karma. It's one thing that I've always believed in. Karma. Karma's going to get you.
Yes.
And I think that will happen. It will happen, but it may not happen in the time frame we need. So we need the system to say, oh, you can't make decisions like this without backlash. That if you're gonna hurt your own, like the people that voted for you, they're gonna get you.
Yeah.
I want to see that happen to the guy.
And I think it's going to, but the pain is going to be sad and almost unbearable to watch. You're talking about like people who farming has been in their family for generations, and now there's nowhere to sell your products. So now your family doesn't do this anymore. Like, smaller farms are going to not exist, and you're just going to have giant corporate farms. Like, that's not good for us.
No. None of this, by the way. None of this. I didn't want to talk about, none of this is good for us.
Technically, and also politics, it's like our current economic climate and this pain and suffering, the strife of the American people. And I think that's what the show is really about.
I mean, by the way, I didn't want to talk about any of that. None of this episode has turned into another episode of nothing and I didn't plan anything, and I almost never do, but, this is more so off the rails for us because I really did not want to talk about politics, but I feel like it's important to have these conversations because it's working. It's working. Like, I'm seeing
and our
more.
Russian fan will be happy that you mentioned Russia.
Oh yeah.
You talked about how beautiful Russia is.
Well, I've only seen pictures. Ever since I was a little kid, I always wanted to go. But with Putin there, like, I'm not a fan. No. I think that he's disgusting. I think he's a piece of shit. I would never go while he's in power. I would like to see Russia liberated, and then I would want to, like, that would be my bucket list, is to go to Russia.
Part of the problem of why Russia hasn't been liberated, because when you punish a company or a country with tariffs and cut them off, you're forcing them
to be cut off.
Yeah.
Well, also you have an oligarchy in Russia.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And look at what's happening here. And then the problem is with an oligarchy is they're hard to get out. They're a cancer.
Look at ours right now. Our cancer, major.
I mean, Russia's stage 4, and we're like at stage 1, but still, yes. You do not want to let it metastasize.
Exactly.
You got to eradicate it at stage 1. You can never give somebody like that the power that he has now. Look at what's happening.
And that's where democracy comes in with our midterm. So that after 2 years, people will see, and we will get the choice to not take him out of power, but flip seats in Congress so he doesn't have the ability to exercise his power.
Well, we're going to have to make new policies for a new America.
Yes.
Like, make all these things impossible for someone to do. And with a fully democratic and more independent thinking Congress, then you'll have this ability to bury, like, okay, cool. Trump made this loophole for billionaires permanent. Now we're going to make this thing over here permanent. That's going to get you.
Yeah.
And all these monopolies, all these big corporations like Walmart and Target will finally
tech companies.
Like,
they
we'll
were there.
finally
They were there for
have
Trump.
to figure out they all have to pay their share in taxes. You just give them a 2% tax, and there goes your national debt. There goes your homeless problem. There goes your housing problem. There goes your immigration budget. You're good. You're golden. We can even pay for Medicare for all and for college for all on top of that. If you just tax 2% on all those fuckers.
Yep.
It's time. I think you and I are more aligned than ever, and we're going to fight about shit. Let's not be dishonest about it. Like, we totally disagreed. In principle, we agreed, but in presentation, we disagreed last week. But that's how you get to a better place, is when you have the tough conversations. If you just say, oh no, everything's cool, I'm going to bury my head in the sand, you're no better than the fucking idiot who didn't vote that we hated on fucking Love Is Blind. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to have the tough conversations so you're like, oh wait, I get it. I have more clarity. There can be no growth if you don't take some accountability.
Growth takes some pain too.
And it's painful.
It's a learning experience.
Growing pains.
Growing pains. Exactly. Exactly.
What else? Should we just wrap it up?
I will say one more company that's got their little piece of the pie from Trump. When Trump negotiated EU tariffs, Google was right there to try to get their little exemption carved out so they don't have to pay the EU taxes, because the EU hits them with insane taxes because they're a monopoly.
I can't stand Google.
And they're basically going to get reduced, or who knows, no taxes if he gets his way and they get their way.
Those are the kind of, like, the new administration, when it does happen, like years and years, it's not even because he doesn't leave in the midterms. What we want to do is create new laws and new checks and balances and a new way of doing business and living in America where Google doesn't have that kind of power. They can't have.
It's just because they were there for him.
And they can't have any more.
Sitting right behind him at the inauguration. And we all know that Mark Zuckerberg was also there. They're all going to give money to him. Yeah.
And it's going to, if we allow it, they're going to do it. So we just can't allow it anymore. And you get a Congress in there with a bunch of AOCs. They're like, no, fuck you. You make this. You're not going to be able to do that monopoly. We're going to sign it into law. Boom, done. You're going to have to pay this tax. Sign it into law. Anything over fucking $500 million, you got to pay this amount. Anything over $1 billion, it's another amount.
Yep.
You got $170 billion.
Tax system, yes. Not a regressive tax system.
Exactly. These are no-brain things. And these people, I think they can actually do some things with Congress. If you have a big enough majority in Congress, that no matter what the president does, he's impotent.
Yes. And I don't think we'll have that complete shift by the midterm. I think we're just going to have more blocks. Like, you won't have him basically getting a full House.
Unless the economy is bad enough, that you get a big enough swing where you have 67%.
I think at the very least we will have a flip in numbers, so he won't be able to pass things through, just like what happened with Obama after his first 2 years, and then you had a major shift to Republicans and the Tea Party, and they blocked everything.
The difference between, look, again, I wasn't a fan of, I have not been a fan of anybody.
Yeah,
I really haven't.
Like, this is a thing that occurs.
The issue that I have is that none of those other presidents, Republican and Democrats, have done the damage. I mean, it's only been 5 months, and look at what's happened. It's only been 5 months. Can America survive another year and a couple of months? Because it's over a year away.
Yeah.
It's a year and a half away, almost.
Well,
do you think America will survive this? Like,
we got to get.
That's the thing.
The pot will boil, and I think we're going to have some, or the popcorn will pop, and we'll have some people come out, and we'll see an alignment building. Yes. To push us into, like, we're not fully feeling the pain yet. It's starting.
It's starting. Yeah. And it's a slow burn because people are cock blocking his own initiatives. Like if we would have just allowed him to just tariff us into oblivion, then the economy would have tanked already.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, I think I hear what you're saying about Taco, like, or maybe I'm the one who said it, but it's like, I kind of want him to like go for it and not like be like, I like that the taco label
enrages him. Tacos. That's the thing. Like he never follows through.
But maybe it might enrage him to
actually follow through this time.
Maybe he might follow through because when he does follow through with his shit, it is bad for America and thus bad for him.
Yep.
But it's going to cause a lot of pain, like you said. That's the thing. Do we want him to still taco, or do we want him to just actually do what he says he's going to do, so we can say "told you so" in the end? Like it's like a given. What are we?
I think we just let him do his thing, and he's going to fall flat on his face.
I think he's going to implode. But how many people is he going to take down? How many small businesses? How many farmers? How many poor people?
What laws? What immigrants are going to get sent to some
how many
prison
people
overseas?
go down with him? That's the key. That's where we have to find the balance of giving him enough rope to hang himself, because he will.
Yes.
He would have already done it if we didn't stop these tariffs. Right?
Yeah.
And
if all these companies,
how do we find the balance?
They didn't step in and they were like, it's going to be really bad. Like people are going to hate you when our shelves are bare because you get everything from China. Like you can't just cut off China and have no manufacturing here or invest in manufacturing here and expect everything to just be
If I were China, I would milk this.
They're laughing at us.
I would literally stop it until America came back to China and said, not only are we not going to have these tariffs, we're going to reduce them. If I were China, I would do business with every country in the world except for America.
Yep.
I would give America the bare minimum to keep our economy flourishing, right? But I would penalize any chance I got until all of this not only is ameliorated, but until it's like working in our direction, where he's actually bringing down the tariffs instead of bringing them up.
And it's already starting. They have a monopoly on the reserve of rare earth metals to make batteries, which all of these companies, Apple, anyone, everything has a battery in it. They cut off India, which we were getting it from. Like most of it didn't come directly from China. It was shipped to India first to avoid tariffs that were already in place on rare earth metals. Now they cut off India too. So they're punishing India to punish us. So we're basically being knocked at the,
they're blackmailing India. So India will capitulate because they don't want to lose China.
Yeah.
India would rather lose America than China.
Yep.
So here's a big question. As a result of all this, because I'm hearing like a little percolation of like stuff like an iPhone will be double the price a year from now.
Scary, but yes.
You think that'll happen?
I think if Apple doesn't,
that's like $3,000 just for a normal phone.
Yeah. Again, China loves Apple. That was the whole book point. Apple has invested hundreds of billions of dollars in China, training people, building schools, getting people working class, like bringing up their economy, investing more than we invested in that whole Build Back Better bill. The Trump and Apple, if they need their carve out, that's the thing. China can like Apple, but trying to let Apple fall.
I'm feeling a little bit of a CNN answer again. Now I want you to really be like, I want frank and earnest. What's the deal, dude? Flat out, right now.
If they don't get their carve out, iPhone prices will go up significantly.
But another carve out. So what is the?
It would be
this is above my pay grade. If there's all these carve outs for the biggest corporations of the world, who's getting taxed? Again, just small businesses,
smaller businesses, and businesses that don't have the president's ear.
But the only ones that have his ear are the
biggest of the big.
Yeah. So
there's
Apple
lots
will
of
be
other stores.
fine.
Think about all the websites and stores out there that exist, and small companies that manufacture things in China, like the Squatty Potty. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Of course, yeah. That was a big Howard Stern.
Yeah,
made that.
You wouldn't be able to make it in America. They were like, we'd have to charge over $100 for the thing if we made it in America. We can't. There is not the capacity to do that here. They make it in China. It's going to go up.
They could have, like our politicians could have invested so that it wasn't
like the
so
Ford plant
expensive to do it in America.
Funding to build the plant, like the Ford plant. That's no longer
so
going to
you
happen
make
now.
the stuff
Exactly.
like if you make it so you can afford to build in America and hire in America. They don't have to go to call centers in the Philippines and in India. You can have call centers in America. But no, we'd rather invest in all them and then all this political bluster. If they would have just taken this money and invested in America.
And there's no punishment for offshoring. Like that company I worked for last year, they took my job away and they're like, we can't afford to hire Americans anymore. We're going to go back to the Philippines.
Not only is there no punishment, it's encouraged.
Yep.
Look at what these big corporations are doing.
Yep.
It's encouraged to go offshore.
Yep.
And more so now in this administration. We're going the wrong direction, but we do got to sum it up. But how do we wrap it up where there's still hope? Is it in the destruction of the love affair with Elonia and Vladimir Trump? Is it in...
I think that's a bright spot. I think we're starting... The talks,
let's go with
things
that.
are starting
Let's
to
do
get
that.
hotter. And well, it's not working out the way he thought it would.
Things are going to hit the fan.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with big egos. You're dealing with the richest people in the world, the most powerful people in the world. And they're going to start like eating each other alive if they're not getting what they want. Because they're used to getting what they want.
Yeah. And I think with the price increases, you're going to see spending lowered because people don't have money. They will just skip this or skip that or get something instead or get nothing. And that's going to hurt all the businesses, whether Walmart has his ear or not. If people don't have money and things are more expensive, it's a given that you're going to have less spending. There'll be less money. Like we are what drives the economy by buying. We're consumer.
Money. Oh my God. Love you. Hey everyone. So we just want to make it so clear that this is for fun. This is a podcast. We just want to let our opinions be heard. We hope you like them. We hope you love them. But these are just our opinions. What do you think about that?
I think that you should always double check all facts. We try to do it live during the show. I make mistakes sometimes and I am happy to be corrected. If you like the show, let us know. If you don't, also let us know.
Or don't. Just don't say anything. If you don't like the show, just go into oblivion and live and
just
prosper.
Keep living us plain, like in the background.
Yeah, just delete us from your memory banks and go on with your life and we'll go on to ours. But moral of the story is that neither one of us thinks that we're right all the time. And neither one of us is a fact checker and knows everything. So this is our opinion for fun, for entertainment, with a little bit of, I think, passion for trying to make a better world. And when we say things, it's because it's important to us or funny to us or entertaining to us. And that's all it is. This is a podcast. This is not a news program, just our opinions.
Thanks for listening.